Okay, so Barbie's GBF has been reorganizing things lately, and in the course of doing that, he finally brought over the Dollzoy Box. So I mostly know what's in this. I've been going through it a little bit, just double checking on names and things, but I thought you would like to see what has been tossed in here over the past few months too. Now there were some things for Doll Junk that have already been put in a box that I need to think about sending out to Australia, but this is the stuff for me. So there's the Afro Kira Fashionista. This is actually the first Fashionista I've gotten in the zipper package. I'll be interesting to see what I can do to restyle this doll into my style. She is cute, but I know people mock the fashionistas for being not super fashionable, but they're still more fashionable than I am. So I don't quite know how to deal with stylish dolls. So that said, what's in here? Odds and ends. The dolls, I know there are accessories and things in here that are surprises to me, like this package, which has the face mask in it, and some cute shoes, and a nice jelly bag and hat and sunblock, among other things. So this will be nice. I'm just wondering if this can actually be used as a hanger, or if it's just useless decoration. Yeah, I haven't bought a new Barbie for a while, so I'm kind of out of date with Barbie. You know, this is more my style of thing. This is a fantastic clone with eyelashes, rooted lashes that are just horrible. They're super bulky and stiff and broken and uneven, and this doll will be fun to get her hair brushed and fixed up and get her cleaned up. I tried to look up what she is. I found the same doll in several instances on eBay wearing what appears to be the original lace swimsuit, but none of those sellers, well, there's a lot of them being sold by one seller who seems to think these are worth something. And there's one in the sold listings that went for $20, which is probably more the value of this doll than what the other seller is asking. But none of them have a name for what the doll is. I thought maybe for a moment it could be a Petra von Plasti, but it does very prominently say made in Hong Kong on the back. And the Petra von Plasti site I was looking at said that no Petra von Plasti says made in Hong Kong. Most of them actually will say Plasti on the back. So the early ones don't, but they don't say made in Hong Kong either. So this is just some clone of a clone of a clone vintage doll who is fantastic. And does have bendable legs, but they're not click knees. They're one of those, there's a piece of metal in there, so it does weird stuff like that. But it is nice her hands have, the pinky fingers are separate, which is a little nicer than most of these clone dolls have. But yes, this is, I mean, and that waist is just ridiculous. So she will be fun to get cleaned up. That is, yes, more my style of doll. And then we have another clone. This one I think is interesting. It's obviously a knockoff of this body with that little weird waist and the chest shape and everything. But this one is just blow molded. There's nothing in the legs to hold the bend. There's no separation of the pinky finger, but other than that, the body is very much a knockoff of that one. This is maybe a little less my style of doll, but I do have a friend who tends to go for 1970s style clone dolls. So this will probably end up in that friend's collection. Well, I have a lot of friends who go for 1970s style clone dolls. You know what I mean. And this one, I had to figure out what this is, look this up. This is a Bright Fairy Friends by Funrise. And she does light up. Apparently these were mystery packed dolls that cost about $15 each, and I don't know when they were out. I just found what they are by poking the internet. And I doubt the people who designed her realized this design they put on her cheek. I don't know if it's supposed to be a snowflake, because there are similar designs on the painted bodice, but that's the pop culture thing called the Chaos Star, isn't it? It has 8 arrows pointing in different directions. So I just find that amusing. I don't think she was intended to have a Chaos Star on her design, but she does, so it amuses me. An articulated Stacy. And not one of the gimmick ones. I mean, this one, the gimmick is the articulation. Some of these had extra gimmicks, like they could kick a soccer ball, or throw a bowling ball, or kick off on a skateboard, or they'd have extra floppy knees so they could do gymnastics. These are not the extra floppy knees. These are just little floppy. The extra floppy knee dolls are super floppy. I don't think this pink in the hair, I think this pink in the hair was done by an owner. So we'll see if that washes out, or you know, what else, what other head might end up on this body. And we have a card captor scooter doll, which these are dolls that I didn't really appreciate when they were out. I never watched the show, but it just the early 2000s was a different time for dolls. We didn't know what we had. So there she is in her Gumby body. And then we have, where'd she go? A Teen Skipper. This was the doll who originally wore a corduroy themed outfit. It wasn't actually corduroy, it was a fancy tricot knit, but I haven't had a 90s skipper for a long time. I remember when these dolls came out, how cool I thought they were at the time. So it's fun to have one of those back. But speaking of 90s skippers, we have this gal, who is a, hold on, I figured out. Splash and color skipper. So these streaks in her hair are color change. They get a little paler apparently when they get warm. But anyway, she has the 1993 skipper sculpt, which was used for very few dolls. It was the bridge between that 1987 skipper had this one, and then they had this one, and then she grew up into this skipper, which these two heads are very similar, but not exactly the same. I had one of these I had back in the day when I was an adult, young adult, trying to get every head sculpt from Mattel, which that I gave up on that fairly quickly. I had the Pizza Hut Courtney version of this. So it's interesting to get this head sculpt again, in a completely different doll than I had before. And I know this hair can be fixed. Okay. Dentist appointment, special day. Some of these calendar stickers got trapped in this giant mess of hair. But I know the hair can be fixed. Tiffy knows how to fix tinsel, so if it's really, really frazzled, I can send it to her. But I think I can get it worked out. So that's cool to have that head sculpt. Again, that's not a very common head sculpt. And we have the second style DC Superhero Girls, Catwoman, who, even though this is a very low articulation body, I actually hadn't realized that they had articulated wrists. This head sculpt is just, it's not a terribly Mattel looking doll. I mean, it is, but it isn't, and it has kind of a retro look to it. So that's why I agreed to take. Barbie's GBF asked me, I think I mentioned, which of these dolls I would like, because he didn't want to inflict things upon me after my big D-stash that I couldn't use. The problem is, I see every doll and I think I can use it, but these, I mean, this one had caught my eye when we were seeing pictures of these dolls before they were released, but I don't know if I ever saw these dolls in the store at all. So yeah, I know her arms are cast in black plastic, but other than that, I think this doll would be fun to dress in very groovy 1960s style stuff. And then we have a Dora the Explorer from the movie. Missing a hand, but I can work with that. She's on, this is from, what was the company? Yeah, Just Play. Just Play is the company who made the Spirit Riding Free dolls, so this is actually the Spirit Riding Free doll body, which I have used for several other dolls, especially the 1987 Skipper dolls. But the Dora doll is very cute. I don't know if she counts as a celebrity doll. I don't know how much she looks like the actress who actually played Dora in the movie. The doll seems fairly stylized, so probably not much. So I can probably accept her as a doll and not a celebrity likeness. I don't know if I mentioned I'm not too keen on celebrity likenesses. And I have hands that I can find for her. Yeah, I need to cut out above the elbows. So, movie Dora. Yes, the child is out there. Made to move kit head to play with. I know there are people who have bowls full of those. And the Barbie Extra. With the split hair, the mealy face, and the iridescent 80s Barbie style dress. And actually there was a Skipper outfit in the 90s that had a smaller cloud print on it that this shirt makes me think of, so this will be fun to play around with. Did I know if her hair had tinsel in it? I'm not sure if I knew this doll's hair had tinsel in it. If I did know, I forgot. I hadn't paid attention to what earrings this doll had either. So yeah, that's cool. It's cool. This is one of my favorite Barbie head sculpts, too. So, thank you. See, we also have when he first offered this doll to me as an Equestria girl, my first reaction was, I can put a pumpkin head on this. So she might lose her head fairly quickly, or I might cut her ears off and just paint the pumpkin features on the face, but probably not. So this will be a fun seasonal doll. I might get around to it this year. I think most of my interest has been sewing me clothes, but since I have the dolls, I can get inspired. And then we have a Tomy Dream Dancer. I actually had Dream Dancer when I was a kid. And I actually kept her and kept her stand and kept everything until maybe 10 or 11 years ago when I sold everything. But it still worked. And as a kid, I remember spending time figuring out how it worked, what was spinning and what was moving to make her dance, and the gearing in her and everything. But the more important thing is this face is the same that Tomy used for Yuko-chan in the 70s. And Yuko-chan is a fairly beloved doll. And I know Dollzoy has done some repaints of Dream Dancers, so she looks like Yuko-chan. I have a Randy Ryder, who was a Yuko-chan clone, that I've put on an action figure body. So neither one of these is technically Yuko-chan, but you can get an idea of the difference in the 80s paint versus the 70s paint. Also, this one was for the American market, and these were more for the Asian market. Dream Dancer's body, like I said, is terrible. The arms move, although they're really easy to pop off. The shoulders. This leg has a floppy knee, so that when she lifts it, it will bend gracefully. And this leg is completely straight because there is a metal rod going up it that turns the gears inside the body that makes this leg go up and down and the arms go around and around. So, and the other thing with these dolls is the tights, the hose, are cemented into the plastic ballet shoes, and a lot of them didn't reach all the way up to the crotch. So this will be fun to play around with, to get into a modern body, get the hair fixed. Should probably be up for a reroot at some point. I'm not sure if I'll repaint her or not. There is some nostalgia here. But as cute as she is as Dream Dancer, she's cuter as Yuko-chan. A Cozy Princess Mulan. This is the first time I've had one of these articulated Cozy Princess bodies from Hasbro. Did I say Hasbro? I'm thinking and talking, so I don't exactly know what I'm saying. So this will be an interesting body to play around with. The child is being sarcastic with his friends. And I definitely need to cut out some from his upper arm so his elbows can bend more. She, don't know if she's going to keep this head or not. We'll see. This is one of the dolls who, if you watch Barbie's GBF channel, you actually saw get tossed into the Dollzoy Box. Not too fond of the Millie face, but this is a nice hair color, even though I know the hair fiber is of dubious quality. But hey, articulated body. Speaking of purple hair, this is, I don't think this is actually a brand name anything. Copyright TNT. Yeah, this is a strawberry shortcake knockoff. Not a clone, not a direct recast of the original doll. At least the head isn't. The body's a little different, I think. I can't tell if she has scent. But purple hair is always good. Come on, we're sure we'll television. there's the chaos. Lovely family, huh? And a mod Ken. Oh yeah, he has horrible head melt. You can feel it. Oh wow, he must have been in a box laying against some other doll. He has melt in the middle of his abdomen, which is easy enough to carve that melt off in. And pretty bad melt on his hips. But yes, Mod Ken is one of my favorite Ken sculpts. Where'd he go? Pretty sure this is a Malibu Ken because you can see how tan he is, whereas this Ken has a very peachy orange skin tone, but I gave him brown eyes because that's what I do, and purple hair because why not? But this one came to me as just a head. Put him in the box. Next to Gem Shayna, who also has purple hair. Yes. I'm kind of predictable with fantasy hair colors, aren't I? But yes. Mod Ken, possibly Malibu Ken. Nice to have in my collection. One that's not modified. Snapstar. I can't remember if this is one of those staining outfits, but I like having this skin tone. Of course, the head's gonna come off. If I were better at painting, I'm sure someone could take one of these Snapstar heads and paint it like a ball jointed doll, give it a nice, lovely, soft face up, and it would look very nice, but I'm not capable of that kind of face up, so I'm probably just gonna find a different head. Next, I will probably leave her head on this body just because this body looks like it will be interesting, but they're kind of close. And Snapstar wigs aren't great, but they can be worked with. Project MC Squared. Lots of glitter makeup, but she's probably going to lose her head and somebody else is going to use this body anyway. And there's some flash in this joint. I have to work with that. No comments on MGA's quality control. Project MC Squares are cute. They are pretty. I'm just not a huge fan of inset eye dolls. Although I have had some dolls before with inset eyes where I've replaced their inset eyes with just epoxy putty and painted over them. Which, there's some dolls in here I might be doing that with. Which would be, we also have a Liv's. I did not appreciate their articulation so much when they were new, but now I just appreciate having an articulation option that's a little bit smaller and slimmer than a regular Barbie body, so it works a little better for younger characters of doll. But yeah, the dolls that I'm probably going to be working on figuring out how to replace the eyes completely would be these two. If they keep their heads at all, which they might not. I have these two to experiment with. I know a lot of people absolutely adore Rainbow High dolls and love them just as they are. But like I said, I'm not a fan of glamorous dolls or trendy dolls or dolls with inset eyes. So I will definitely be experimenting with these two. They are pretty. It's just, pretty's not my thing. I was gonna say pretty's not my jam, but you know, saying something's my jam is not my thing either, so. And then we have some more shoes for Rainbow High. So appreciated. A surprise cat hat, which I have plenty of dolls that can fit on. Crystal stand. A couple different headphones for large heads. I wonder if these would fit my BJDs. Some doll clothes. I felt like when BGBF was over here, I felt like I was like talking myself into a hole. I was talking about doll clothes. It's like, I don't buy dolls for the clothes because, as most of you know, I sew. And I sew a lot. So I have a lot of handmade doll clothes. I don't dislike mass-produced doll clothes. I do especially like the fact that they are doll clothes that didn't come out of my brain. So how much I like to mix and match things means that this is mixing and matching that comes, you know, from elsewhere. So I can work on it to make it fit with my aesthetic. Everybody's got allergies and stuff right now. So I do appreciate doll clothes that I didn't make. I won't buy a doll for clothes myself because I don't need to. So I don't think there's anything wrong with mass-produced doll clothes. They're just not generally my style. I used to buy dolls just for their clothes. In the 90s, during the heyday of Fashion Avenue, and then into the early 2000s with fashion fevers, tons of dolls buying just for their clothes, as well as the independent sets of doll clothes. But now, not so much. I'll leave those for everybody else. And then we have some more Rainbow High accessories. Shoes. Comb. And I think these are LOL glasses. Or are they Rainbow High? I know Rainbow Highs and LOLs can share head size things, pretty much. From what I've read. I know, I'm so horrible. I just don't pay attention to modern dolls anymore, do I? Barbie violin. A Rainbow High purse. It's just giant ring pop. No, it's a purse, isn't it? I know it opens with my old fingers. There we go. And I believe this is a Barbie Extra pet, which, I mean, like I said about me in fashion, the boss collar, not my thing, but it's just a clip, it comes right off. And the base toy itself is fairly cute. I have to resist the temptation to see if the head comes off and we'll go on to another body. But, it could. Alright, and so thank you very much to Barbie's GBF for bringing this box over. I hope you like what I gave you in return. Alright, I am rambling. I am, how long did this take? Alright, around half an hour. Alright, so I should stop now before I talk myself any deeper into a hole, because that seems to be what I've been best at doing lately. So, thank you for all the stuff, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you again sometime.